This video is for H-1B visa holders. The H-1B visa is a temporary work visa, and it requires an employer sponsor the whole time. When H-1B workers get laid off, they only have 60 days to find a solution, or they must leave the country immediately. Today, the economy is actually turning pretty grim, and the H-1B visa's temporary status has become a risk to thousands of families. This video is a full technical walkthrough of what to do if you lose an H-1B job and what the alternative immigration options are. We separated this video into different chapters for easy navigation, and we included links to all the presentations and other materials in the descriptions below. Every H-1B family faces something different, so today you're going to learn about the temporary visa solutions, and some of them are actually super fast emergency options, but most importantly, we're also going to get to how to finally take control of your immigration and get a permanent green card through the EB-5 program. The EB-5 visa has just shot to the top of the list as a true permanent green card solution because it's simple, fast, and under your control. You invest $800,000, you get a permanent green card. There are also a couple different hacks to this process where H-1B visa holders can actually start with less than $800,000. Initial investments can start as low as $200,000, and then you can actually use concurrent filing to go straight to an EAD, and you can do that in as little as 3 months. H-1B problem solved. The popularity of this transition from H-1B to EB-5 actually makes a lot of sense. Silicon Valley and its H-1B employees had it good for over 10 years. Unicorns were born, IPO bells rang, and some people made a lot of money. Those H-1Bs who made money can invest in EB-5, and they can cure their immigration issues forever. This video is even more necessary because President Biden signed some of the biggest USCIS policy changes in 2022, which makes a lot of immigration information that's on the internet completely outdated. Also, at the end of this video, I will explain how the EB-5 visa has become the H-1B workers' most popular immigration solution, but that popularity could result in the start of severe backlogs by the end of 2023 or 2024. As an H-1B visa holder, even if you are lucky enough not to get laid off, this video will help you understand the system, have visa backup plans in place, and if or when you need it, you will know how to act decisively and how to protect your family's immigration status and just go get a green card. Be sure to put any questions that you have about this in the comments because we review them every day and our team of immigration attorneys and EB-5 experts will absolutely get back to you. If you find any of this content helpful, please like and subscribe to let us know that you want more content just like this. So let's first identify the USCIS processes after getting laid off when you're an H-1B visa holder. Then we'll talk about the solutions. So to try and keep things simple, here's a breakdown of the USCIS status stages. From the day you get let go, you have a 60-day grace period where you remain what they call in status. If your I-94 has less than 60 days remaining, then it's actually limited to the I-94 expiration date. After the grace period, you will fall out of status. You can remain out of status for 6 months until you begin accruing what they call unlawful presence. That's where things start to get really bad. If you begin accruing unlawful presence, you could face a 3-year ban from entering the United States again. If you accrue more than 12 months of unlawful presence, you could face a 10-year ban. People ask us how to hack the process, and they try to ask us questions like, when does the 60-day clock actually start? Like, can't my employer just not say anything for a while? While I appreciate that kind of creativity, the answer is a hard no. Apparently, a few people have actually already tried this, and USCIS has already caught on. The 60-day clock starts immediately after your termination because your employer is actually obligated to notify USCIS of any termination or any material change to your employment. The Department of Labor even passed specific regulations against the concept of benching. This is an issue where employers are underpaying or not paying at all an employee who has immigration benefits, but is not really working or engaged in any sort of work that will produce revenue for the employer at any time in the future. The Department of Labor got really specific about this. However, the one available and completely legal hack to this process is to try and negotiate for less severance in exchange for more time as an employee. This will effectively buy you additional time to try and line up that next H-1B job or find a different solution. As an example, if you're given 2 months severance, try to trade that severance simply for 2 more months of being employed. So you, instead of having actually 60 days to find a job, you have 120 days, the 60 days of employment plus the 60 days of grace period. What are the solutions to an H-1B layoff? That's what we'll talk about next. The most common one is to actually just try and get hired for another H-1B job, and you have to do that within your 60-day grace period. You don't even need to go through the visa lottery again, and your employer can sponsor you. And you can even take advantage of the H-1B portability rules. You can begin work immediately as soon as the new employer files what they call a non-frivolous petition with USCIS, and that just brings you on as an H-1B worker. One of the only conditions is that you have to have valid status at the time of filing, and that's where that grace period comes in. It's that 60-day window. 60 days really isn't a lot of time, but it's still a lot better than it was before. The 60-day grace period actually didn't even exist until 2017. Why do I even mention it? The importance of creating the grace period is that after your termination, it allows you to stay in lawful status with USCIS. Before 2017, you immediately fell out of status with USCIS, and that actually makes the ability to get approval for other visas that much harder. Due to the new grace period, those other temporary non-immigrant visas are now a viable emergency option in the event that you can't secure a new H-1B job in time. Being hired again sounds like it's a simple solution, but as the saying goes, when it rains, it pours. And the entire tech sector seems to be imploding at the same time. If everyone is firing, potentially no one is hiring. Some H-1B visa holders might have been fortunate enough to actually get the EB-2 Greencard petition filed through their employer. However, unfortunately, they still might not be protected. Backlogs for the EB-2 category can be exceptionally long. For example, India's backlog has been estimated to be even as long as 150 years. In that case, losing a job may jeopardize the whole green card application and force all of those individuals back to the end of the line. So one way around that is that if the employee is actually at the second stage of the green card process, which is what they call the I-140 immigrant petition, and that petition has been approved for at least 6 months, only then can that investor or that employer and employee, can they retain their priority date, which is effectively their place in line for the green card backlog. And that gives them protection even if they lose their job. So let's look at other options. The B1, B2 visa is a temporary visitor visa, and that can be used for up to 6 months a year. But really, you need to apply for these carefully with the assistance of an immigration attorney to set up that application for success. Your previous status under H-1B could kind of raise some questions about your temporary and or non-immigrant intent, and you need to be prepared to respond with those kind of answers in a favorable manner so you can get approval from USCIS. Another option is the F1 visa. That's a student visa, where you can probably get that for almost 2 years or more, depending on the kind of program you subscribe to. You can get the F1 visa by entering into a bona fide graduate or master's degree program. Another version of this is the J1 visa. It works well for exchange visitor programs such as doctors, medical research staff, and other educational opportunities that are similar to that. Lastly, some employees can qualify for the O1 or the EB-1 because they have extraordinary abilities. The bar for that, it sounds pretty high, and it is. So you definitely need to seek a review from a licensed immigration attorney to assess your qualification. So now let's look at common investment-based options. The E2 visa is a non-immigrant visa where an immigrant can invest a substantial amount of capital into a U.S. business. That sounds vague. That's because it is. Approval of E2 businesses is really subjective, and USCIS can actually randomly approve or deny those applications at will. Even if it does get approved, it is a non-immigrant visa that lives and dies with the underlying business. Unless you plan on running that business until the day you die, the E2 visa will never be a permanent solution. That brings us to the EB-5 visa. If you are looking to become a U.S. permanent resident or get a green card, the clear winner is the EB-5 visa. You may be thinking, I've heard about EB-5 and I remember having problems, but previously EB-5 did have some bad stories, but a lot has changed in 2022 thanks to US Congress. The EB-5 investor visa got an all-new policy. It's called the 2022 EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act. This allows investors who invest $800,000 into a qualifying project to get a green card. $800,000 sounds like a lot of money, but it actually does not have to be all cash, and it doesn't even need to be paid all up front. You can invest in stages or installments, And we even have options that can initially start as low as $200,000. That's 25% of the total. So eventually you do need to invest the full $800,000, and new policy allows EB-5 investors to use loans from banks or gifts from friends and family. That makes the required amount of cash out of your pocket actually much less. You can see videos on how to do that right up here. EB-5 has become so popular that it's referred to as the golden visa. It got that name because you can control the process, it has no education or language requirements, and there's no employer needed. You simply need to invest money and you get a green card. Perhaps the most important item for H-1B visa holders who are looking at the EB-5 visa today is that it has no retrogression, no backlogs, fully current, and it has full child age-out protection status and offers immediate concurrent filing. That means you're able to immediately file for the adjustment of status, and some investors can get the EAD and travel permits in as little as 100 days. You can see our video on concurrent filing right up here. So simply put, this means that the EB-5 visa can allow you to immediately ditch that H-1B temporary work visa and get the EAD and start a path to a permanent green card. No employer needed. For people who want to jump straight into learning about EB-5, we put a bunch of links to downloadable resources, videos, and even a link to free appointments with immigration attorneys in that description below. So now, let's get on to what might be the most important message in this entire video. EB-5 is something you need to look at now, not later. EB-5's popularity has skyrocketed after the new policy passed. No backlogs means immediate green card filings. In the world of U.S. immigration and quotas, popularity leads to backlogs. Let me be clear, EB-5 today has no backlogs, but it is almost certain to hit some sort of backlog by probably the end of 2023 or 2024. Why is this? H-1B layoffs. There's no pretty way to say it, but the tech reckoning is upon us, and we are getting phone calls every single day from H-1B employees from all kinds of different countries of birth, and they're losing their jobs, and some are scrambling to try and avoid deportation. Today, the EB-5 visa's ability to get the EAD fast has gotten everyone's attention. These layoffs are not an isolated incident either. Layoffs.fyi is showing that over 148,000 tech workers have gotten the axe in 2022 alone. Almost all the big names are getting hit. Meta fired 11,000 people, Amazon cut 10,000, and Twitter, in almost Thanos-style fashion, snapped half its entire company overnight. That's 3,700 people fired in one day. What is even more worrisome is that the H-1B layoff trend seems to be accelerating. Work assistant company Glean estimates that 5 to 15% of all these layoffs were H-1B holders. However, if you zoom out, the problem is actually much bigger. It's estimated that over 583,420 H-1B authorized work permit holders were in the United States as of September 2019. If we were to project those numbers forward to 2022, it's even more. If Glean estimates hold, it means that potentially 87,000 people right now are at risk of needing to pack up their entire life and leave the country immediately. These H-1B issues are cruel, ridiculous, and really a strategically stupid part of the U.S. immigration system, but that's actually a whole different video for a completely different time. So, looking at this thing, in conclusion, a lot of people are in the United States on H-1B, and they're looking at EB-5 in order to get out of these backlogs and get a permanent green card. Countries that have high demand, like India and China, are potentially going to fall into these backlogs. If you want to get an EAD in a matter of months, secure your green card, and solve your immigration forever, you need to consider EB-5 today before there are backlogs. The longer you wait, the more risk of a backlog forming directly in front of you. To learn more about EB-5, make an appointment with our team by clicking on the links in the descriptions below. How do you know if it's too late? In order to know whether EB-5 is current and whether no backlogs exist, you need to check out what's called the Visa Bulletin. The Visa Bulletin is updated monthly by USCIS. We have videos on how to read the Visa Bulletin, and that's right up here. And also, we publish our own monthly analysis when those updates come out. So H-1B employees have options after a layoff. Some of them are quick patches.